lot of times people say, well, how do your estate planning attorney and this pre-plate, how do they interact with one another? And I love when clients come in and say, hey, we have this all lined out, because then I can reference that. So
Yes.
also, if for whatever reason, long time from now, when you pass away, your kids forget that I don't think your kids will forget, but that, that somebody forgets, hey, mom and dad had this, or mom had this, or dad had this, or whatever. We reference it in the documents that we provide, so that it's a trigger for someone like, oh, hey, that's who we need to call. That's where we go, so that doesn't get lost anywhere.
Yeah, well, and it's an interesting thing because, you put together the disposition of last remains, which is important. But I'll tell you, I've been at Feldman's for 12 years. I've never seen a disposition of last remains, because the day somebody dies, you don't go to the safe deposit box. I assume you tell people don't keep it in the safe deposit box.
Yes, exactly. No, please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't. But nobody looks for those things because they can't think. So I always encourage my clients to, number one, make sure their loved ones know, but number two, put one of my business cards in their wallet.
Yes. Well, and a lot of times people don't think of the disposition of last remains as an estate planning document. They think of just a will or a trust, maybe powers of attorney, appointment of guardian, right? They don't think of, oh, we do that. Because I know when I talk to my clients and I'm like, oh no, we include that in what we do. They're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. They just think about passing their stuff, but the most important thing is them. So we want to make sure that they're honored and taken care of in that sense.
Absolutely. And these decisions could not be more important.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that you do, the things I think about for your work is not so much getting their stuff, but taking care of them while they're still alive and they can't speak for themselves. So, having the documents that you provide is so important. And what I'm trying to teach them is don't be afraid to have the conversation about those documents, those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And the documents can't possibly speak to all the contingencies.
No.
So learning to talk about death it's scary and it's painful. And it is the only thing that every single one of us, aside from birth, is going to experience.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and when we look at this, and you have said this before, which is we're all going to die, and you're either going to die with a plan or without a plan. Like, it doesn't guarantee, having a plan or not a plan doesn't guarantee any of that. So, the question is, do you want to have this all prepared? So one, you're honored in the way you want to, because I think you mentioned earlier, Jamie, there's a bunch of different dispositions you can go through, right? And so making sure that your wishes are honored in that. Because I have clients who say, I want to be cremated and I want my ashes in these 3 or 4 places. And we can also write into our documents that there's money to be used from the estate to accomplish all of those things, and who can do that and when and how that's supposed to be, how we're going to look at it. So just different things like